Question, real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right.
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Summer is upon us. So for many romance readers and for many readers, that means we are now in the season of beach read recommendations. They are coming at us left, right, up, down, in and out, just thrusting towards us. Get ready to be inundated, readers. Get ready to wish that your sunscreen's SPF could also protect against burnout from book reviews in your inboxes, in addition to the burnout from the sun particles on your skin boxes. That's what I'm calling bodies these days, skin boxes. Anyway, hi everyone. Welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast where we chat about romance novels around $5 and under. I am your host, Becky Feldman, doing a solo bonus quick TSTL episode with a little extra spice as I prepare for some exciting upcoming episodes with some amazing, hilarious guests. So for today's episode, I am here to give you my summer romance recommendations. And these aren't for like beach goers as much as they are for camp goers or camp went to-ers. These are camp romances for people who went to summer camp. That's who these recommendations are for. Summer camp romances for people who went to summer camp. And you know what? It's not just for anyone who went to summer camp. These are recommendations for people who went to summer camp and it wasn't romantic for them at all. So you need a romance novel that takes place at a summer camp so you can compensate for the lack of actual romance that you experienced. So essentially, this is a list of camp romances recommended specifically for me, Becky Feldman, by me, Becky Feldman. And you know what? If any of you cynical summer camp alums get something out of this, then I don't know, maybe I served my purpose in this world. Look, there is a common misconception that if you went to a sleepaway camp, especially a Jewish sleepaway camp like I did, people think that you were making out with cute boys all the time. People would always think like, oh, I bet the boys would sneak into your bunk at night and they'd crawl into your sleeping bags and you guys would like hook up. But let me just tell you, it is not like that for every camper. Yeah, hot guys were sneaking into our bunks, but they weren't making out with me. They were making out with the girls who slept immediately on either side of me. So my quintessential summer camp experience isn't like playing capture the flag or like free swim or listening to the guy like strum fish songs on his acoustic guitar. No, my quintessential summer camp experience is those moments in the middle of the night when I am pretending to be asleep while every girl around me is getting fingered for the first time. Camp songs, laughter, those aren't the sounds I remember. The sounds I distinctly remember are these loud, slurpy kisses, like a horse lapping water from a shot glass. Do horses lap water? I don't know, but that's just what I dreamt about when like I would like listen to these people. Like I would be lying there with my eyes closed, trying not to move, because I don't want the people who are making out around me to know that I can hear them. Honestly, I don't want them to be embarrassed, even though they should be embarrassed because like they are disgusting kissers. And then you know what happens? I start getting embarrassed because my ears are absorbing so much audible detail. I can objectively conclude that these people who are like making out with each other are disgusting kissers without ever having to kiss either one of them. Like that is a fact I live with. The fact that they are disgusting kissers is a fact that I live with. I still live with it. And like, there are people out there who don't know that I know that they are bad kissers. And like, that's a truth I cannot unlearn. You know, all I wanted was a good night's sleep. And these people and their overly salivated mouths did not have the courtesy to respect that. So yeah, this is who these book recommendations are for. Former campers who didn't get the opportunity to practice their disgusting kissing techniques. These are second chance camp romances for adults who had mostly traumatizing but sometimes fun camp experiences themselves. I have 5 recommendations for you in order from like cute and sweet to nuts and bonkers. So the first recommendation I have for you is One Last Summer by previous TSTL guest Kate Spencer. And I think this is like the true definition of like an adult second chance summer camp romance. If you are looking for like a grounded story that you can relate to, that's like about burnout and how childhood nostalgia can make you sad, but it also is a reminder that we're all still human, this is the book to read. Now, it's not as horny as like the monster smut that I usually read, but I will say the main character in that book does like horny monster smut. So if you want to read a book where like monster smut exists in its reality, pick up One Last Summer. Up next, if you want a book about a woman who like actually gets this actual second chance to have that youthful summer camp experience, I want to tell you about the debut book from Amy Lorowitz called Summer Husband. It's about a mom who gets a job at a summer camp that her daughters are attending, but she ends up having the summer that she never had as a youth, where she's like making friends and sneaking around and getting into hijinks, and she's like hooking up with like the hottest guy there. If you like romance novels that could also qualify as women's lit and is like a fictional narrative about a woman who just needs to find her place in the world, check out Summer Husband. Thank you so much to Grace from Spark Point Studio for the advance copy. Summer Husband will be released on May 19th, so you have a few more days to pre-order. The link to pre-order is in today's show notes. Next, I feel like it would be really dumb of me to not recommend a hockey romance that is also a second chance camp romance in light of heated rivalry's popularity and with the upcoming adaptation of the Off-Campus series on Amazon Prime. And that book is Him by Serena Bowen and off-campus author Elle Kennedy. I listened to the audiobook recently, and don't worry, it's narrated by all of your favorite male voices that you like wish could be the voice inside of your head all the time. And like, as I was listening, it had me wondering if like the premise of this book is maybe what the masses thought the premise of heated rivalry would be about, because it's basically about like bros who are bros and they just love being bros, but then they accidentally hook up and then they stop being bros, but then they're all like empty inside because like they're not bros anymore. Okay, I am undermining it a little bit, but look, if you like a second chance romance where the first chance that the characters have leaves them in an incredibly emotionally messy situation and you're like, oh my God, how are they going to get out of this? I really feel like Him is an exceptional choice. It takes place at a hockey camp and it's about former campers who reunite as counselors. And like all of the characters in Elle Kennedy's other books, these young men are like surprisingly mature. So if you like your new adult romance where the new adults pretty much think and act and behave like adults, first of all, I'd recommend the off-campus books. But if you need that second chance summer camp love that can also fulfill your male hockey romance needs, the book Him is, as they say in hockey, a slam dunk. So now we're going to move on from douche canoes to actual canoes. I just want to say douche canoe is, I'm only ever read it or hear it in Elle Kennedy books. I believe it's like the Canadian version of calling someone a douchebag, but okay. But now we're moving on to actual canoes. And also we're getting weird. We are now, folks, going to enter the Omega-verse for this next recommendation. So I got curious and I had to see if there was a second chance camp romance that takes place in the Omegaverse, and there is. It's called Camp Lake Omega, which I keep accidentally calling Camp Lake Alpha. Needless to say, Camp Lake Omega and Camp Lake Alpha are both like existent in this book. So Like, the Omegaverse is a very intriguing thing to me. It's very silly. It's fun. And Camp Lake Omega, for what it is, it does have like a clever premise where it feels like one of those like 1950s movies where it's like there's a boy camp across the lake from a girls camp. And the camp directors are like, we better not see any of those boys talking to our girls. But in this book, you replace boys and girls with alphas and omegas. Like, there's an alpha camp across the lake from an omega camp, and it's like, oh my god, what's going to happen when these omegas get into their heat? It's total summer hijinks. It's a second chance camp romance where you have an omega widower who's like returning to his omega camp that he went to work as a counselor now. Only he meets the head of the alpha camp across the lake, and he bonds with that alpha when he is very nicely returning the camp's lost canoes. Look, I read this book in an hour, and that's like honestly how long it needed to be. I will say this, I sometimes am on the lookout for like an Omegaverse book that can like easily be understood by someone who has yet to read the Omegaverse and they're like, what is this? So I do think that this book may be a good first Omegaverse book if you're interested. It gives you that summary of the society, of the anatomy, but it doesn't get like too in the weeds because again, this book is so quick. This is the book that you read when you're in the waiting room at your doctor's office on a Monday, which is exactly where I read this. And finally, if you just want like a ridiculous, smutty story, I just finished reading the book Hardwood Daddy. Okay. First off, I want to say that the tagline of this book is he's built like a bunk bed, which I don't even know what that means, but great. But the thing is, okay, lately I've been getting really into smut where it feels like the characters, especially the male characters, they're just like so horny and they're so feral and they're so like possessive. Like it feels like they're werewolves, but maybe the book forgot to include the term werewolves like in the story. Like, okay, Hardwood Daddy makes no sense. We don't even know if the main character even went to school, but this Hardwood Daddy, his name is Rutger. He is like the Tarzan of the southwestern United States. He was like raised without like society by his grandparents. He doesn't understand things, but he understands how to love. So, don't worry about that. It was so ridiculous. Like it's about a woman who's like escaping her mafia boyfriend and or her mafia ex-boyfriend, and she like sneaks onto this camp, but it's an art camp, and she has to pretend to be like the nude model for the art camp. But then there's this Tarzan guy. It was great, you guys. If you like your male leads to have a bit of like alien warrior DNA mixed with like DNA of like a Neanderthal who like really needs therapy, but he doesn't know what therapy is because he's a Neanderthal. I cannot recommend Hardwood Daddy enough. So there you go. These are my recommendations for second chance summer camp romances for people who went to camp but didn't hook up. Basically, they are recommendations for myself, by myself. But listen, I can't keep taking recommendations for myself. I would love your recommendations. So if you have any summer reads you want me to check out, reach out to me at tstlpod@gmail.com. You can follow the show at TSTL Podcast on TikTok and Instagram, or you can follow the show on Substack. It's tstlpodcast.substack.com. Thank you so much for checking in for this quick episode, everyone. The show will be back with some amazing episodes before you know it. I hope you all have a wooden rest of your day.
'Cause I just can't make my eyes behave.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right.
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
for links to the book that we reviewed today, be sure to check out the show notes or visit the episode page at tstlpodcast.com. Too Stupid to Live participates in affiliate marketing programs, including Amazon Associates. The podcast may collect a small commission if consumers purchase items by clicking on certain links shared on the show notes, episode page, and other social networking platforms. This is at no cost to the consumer, and all commissions go to supporting TSTL. Hey, TSTL listeners! Are you an indie author with a book to promote? An artist or designer trying to sell bookish swag? Are you a book talk influencer in need of more followers to do your influencing? Well, TSTL would love to help you out. Hi, I'm Becky. I'm the host of Too Stupid to Live, and I love building new connections with the bookish and sexual health communities, whether it's for sponsorships at amazingly reasonable and negotiable rates, or guest and topic ideas for TSTL's Extra Spice and Hot as Hell episodes. So if you want to hook up, visit tstlpodcast.com/contact, or you can email the show at tstlpod@gmail.com. Hey, TSTL listeners, if you're a fan of the show and if you are like really rich to the point where you're able to throw in a little bit of financial support, there are numerous ways you can help TSTL continue to put out completely unhinged and hilarious and, let's face it, sexy romance novel content. First, you can become a paid subscriber on TSTL's Substack, where you can listen or watch ad-free episodes. Just visit tstlpodcast.substack.com to subscribe. But if monthly subscriptions aren't really your thing, but you still happen to be like super duper really rich, you can also buy TSTL a happy ending at buymeacoffee.com/TSTLpodcast. Each happy ending costs $1, which all goes to support the show. For 3 happy endings, I'll give you a shout out on the podcast, along with a romance novel-inspired pet name. And for 5 happy endings, you'll get a shout out, plus a TSTL bookmark in the mail as a thank you gift. Look, even just by listening to TSTL, you're making me feel all tingly and all special inside. But if you feel like your support can be a little more engorged, if you will, you can check out the different ways to support the show at tstlpodcast.com/support.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right?
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?